Good afternoon, Joelah Noble.
Why am I excited?
I don't know, man. I'm excited to have you here because we personally know each other, and I'm extremely proud of all that you. It's just, yeah, I don't know. You're doing a lot, man.
Thank you.
You're doing a lot. So first off, welcome and thank you for your time. Just in general, how are you feeling? How's things for you?
Do you know what? I'm good. Obviously, a madness is happening in the world right now. But I'm adapting. You know, to be honest, one of the biggest things that happened in terms of my career last year was actually because of the madnesses that's happening in the world. So I'm grateful. There are definitely days when it's super, super tough because we can't really do much in terms of like leaving our houses, and like meeting up with our friends and support system and stuff like that. But I'm here, baby.
How's it affected you work-wise? Have you missed on opportunities, or is it still being pretty much?
Do you know what? At first, I did miss out on work opportunities, like things that was in the works kind of stopped or got pushed back and just never really happened. And then, like I said, like I went like, when did we start? March, April?
What, with the lockdown?
Yeah. April, May, June, about 2 months. Not like doing any work really. Like I did like influencer stuff to make them money, shmoney.
Shmoney gang.
You know, you got to.
You see them hashtag ADs on the post, like, you know, getting your money, getting your coins.
You know, you have to. I did like that, and then Amazon Prime happened. And that is the big thing that happened due to COVID, because they needed some kind of entertainment whilst we was in our houses or whatever. So I had the opportunity to talk to football stars, you know, and play games with them as well, which was pretty cool. It brings out my competitive streak because I'm about winning.
Do you actually love football? Or you just like...
Do you know what?
You learned a new...
No, don't look at me like that, first of all.
Do you have a team, actually?
I have always supported Liverpool. Okay. I don't appreciate... Yeah, like, should we stop now? Should I get up and go? Is that what we're doing?
We'll continue. We'll continue.
My big brother supports Liverpool. So by default, like, I have an old school Carlsberg Adidas Liverpool t-shirt. You could see it
official then,
on my Instagram. Yeah.
Because it's on the gram, it's official.
I'm telling you, it's old, and you can see that it's old.
Team Man
If
United
I did
over
a
here.
full body thing, anyway,
There we
don't
go.
talk to you anymore. I don't know how you, anyway, whatever. If I did a full body thing, yeah, you can see that the top is like a belly top, because I had it when I was like 2. Yeah, and it was really difficult to fit over my big head. But yeah, I do support Liverpool. Like I said, I'm super competitive. So I've always watched it, like the big games, Olympics, obviously. Everyone watches the Olympics. But Man wasn't paying Sky Sports, BT Sports subscriptions. Like, wasn't doing that. We couldn't afford that growing up. Like, that was not an extra subscription we were willing to pay. So I'm not going to lie, like, I didn't follow it immensely. But now it feels like a long lost family member that you see, and you're like, I didn't know how much I missed you.
But it's like, look, okay, so how much, I mean, that's just an amazing, like, this is Amazon Prime. Like, when that opportunity comes through, like, were you nervous? Were you excited? Because to date, is this your biggest, one of your biggest?
Yeah, I think Premier League is probably the biggest, because that's the brand. Like, it's one of the biggest brands in the world, Premier League. But of course I was nervous. It wasn't my first football thing. My first football thing was, do you know about Set Play?
No.
It's like a community football league, basically. So I did some hosting for them. Was it last year? I believe it. Anyway, whatever year it was. Last year or the year before that. Did some hosting for them. And then I got to go to France to check out the Women's World Cup.
Wow. Okay.
So that was quite big. I was totally out of my comfort zone. Like, we were talking to fans and stuff as well. Do you know what I mean? And I was talking to the Chelsea fans, Chelsea women's fans. So it's just like, this isn't even, I don't know, like, what is going on? Loved it still, like, loved watching the matches. I did feel like it was just out of my league. After that, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do any more football stuff, even though I really, really enjoyed it. And I just love any opportunity that takes me out of the country. Like, I feel like I made it when I do that. But yeah, like the same producers actually that did the Women's World Cup, they hit me up for Amazon Prime. And I was nervous, of course, rightly so. I'm nervous before I do anything. But it was amazing. Like, it brought out the competitive streak for me. And what I love about it as well is that although we're talking about football, we're competing. Like, we're on teams. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter, really. Like, you're bringing out that part of them as well. And it's fun. So it was good. Yeah, that was a good entry into the football world. And then when Premier League hollered at me, it was like, do you know what? Like, I can do this. And anything that takes you out of your comfort zone is going to help you grow, regardless.
That is crazy.
Got to do it.
So where do we start, Joelah? What's the life before media story? Like, where were you raised?
Okay, all right. I was born in South London.
Where are you?
Yeah.
South? You don't live in South, though, do you? Or do you live in South?
I don't live in South now.
Okay, cool.
But I went to Brooklyn when I was 5. Did I ever tell you that?
No.
Okay. So I moved to Brooklyn.
Billy told me that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I moved to Brooklyn when I was 5 with my mum. And I stayed there until I was about 13. So I would say like that move was such an integral part of just my growth. You know, those are your foundation years. This is why I wanted to be a rapper growing up. This is why I love Jay-Z. This is why I choose Biggie over Park any day. You know, it's just why I am who I am.
You was really out there, innit?
I was out there.
You was out there.
And I lived in like the real ghetto as well. Like, I didn't know it was a ghetto, but no, that's a lie. I did know it was a ghetto. But like, my friends would be like, oh no, we ain't coming to JoJo's house because she lives in New Lots. Like, that's East New York. Like, we're not going around there. They used to laugh at me. But I'm just there like, this is just, like, these are just my friends. Like, yeah, you might hear gunshots on the roof in the summertime, but that's normal, isn't it? Ain't it normal? Ain't that normal? So yeah, I came back to England because I've got brothers and sisters here that didn't move to Brooklyn. And my dad was here as well. And I just had such a culture shock. Like, in Brooklyn, there's just black people and Latinos. At the time, anyway. In Brooklyn now, it's very, very diverse. But at the time, to see white people, you go to Manhattan. And then also there's like stereotypes, right? So you feel like this is so detrimental as well, but you feel like anything that is white is right to a certain extent, where it's like, oh, well, that must be good quality because the white people, they have that. Like, same way we wear like top designer brands and stuff like that.
Yep.
Same way we were rocking Polo, Ralph Lauren and all of that stuff. Anyway, coming to England, I had never like met so many different types of like black people, different cultures. I didn't know what an East African person looked like. I had no idea. Like, it was mad to me. Like, when I was in high school and my best friend started speaking Yoruba, I was just like, how have you not told me like you could speak another language? Like, this is amazing. You know, and she was embarrassed at the time. I never understood. I was like, what, are you mad? Like, teach me. Teach me. And it's helped me to this day. Because like, you say you support Manchester United.
Yeah, the best team, yeah.
Anyway, we'll just go over that stupid statement. How you guys have made it this far right now is ridiculous. And
You know.
you're lucky anyway. I don't know what's happening. Anyway, I'm not even going to.
Yeah, let's not do it.
Let's not do it, okay? Burnley, though. Like, who's Burnley? Anyway. Who's Burnley? You know Odi Ighalo?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So he's the first Nigerian to play for Manchester
Yep.
United. Like, I had the opportunity to speak to him, and my Yoruba knowledge served me well.
Okay.
You know, I was doing up Ekaro, Ekaso on my interview with him.
Okay.
And, you know, and I'm also quarter Nigerian. My dad's half Nigerian.
Round of applause.
So
Nigeria in the building.
my dad's half Nigerian and half English, and my mum's Trinidadian. Black Trinidadian, because, you know, there's a lot of Trinidadians who have like Asian and Indian and all that stuff mixed. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, I had a massive culture shock. I didn't know what was going on. And also like, just like even the architecture, I was just like, what the hell? Like, where am I? Music was totally different. I came back to Blazing Squad singing Meet You at the Crossroads. And I'm like, that's Bone Thugs and Harmony. What are you doing? Like, what's going on here? So yeah, it was mad.
You must have that deep accent, right? When you came
I
back?
did.
Yeah.
I did. Most definitely.
So so at that point you come back, there's a culture difference, but then what are your passions? Is it just that acting at that point, or is it drama, or is it just you're still figuring out what you like to do?
Yeah, I wanted to be a rapper, but I'm such a perfectionist.
Did you seriously want to be a rapper, like, for real?
I'm not joking when I say I wanted to be a rapper, but I'm such a perfectionist. Like, I was scared to put myself out there because anything I'd done was just never good enough to me. Like, now I feel like I wouldn't do it now, but if I took it seriously, I feel like I'll actually be all right. I'll be quite good.
See, I can't, I mean, my ears need to believe where that confidence comes from.
No. Maybe later on in the interview. I'm not warmed up yet. It's making me nervous just thinking about it as well. But just know, Jay-Z's my favourite rapper. So Eminem's my second rapper.
So you're a lyricist then?
I'm a lyricist.
Flows.
Double entendre, don't even ask me how.
Okay.
Anyway. So yeah, no, I really did. Like, my name was Fugged Out Barbie, and then we changed it.
Real?
Yeah. And then we changed it to Jules as well. Not Jewels, Jules. And I don't know, I've always wanted to do something creative. Like, I used to dance in school and in college, always did acting. After rapping, I would say that acting was like, I was like, yeah, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Like, for real. And it kind of just evolved. Like, at that point in college where you have to choose whether you're doing A-levels or BTEC, whatever it was at the time, I chose A-levels. But it was like A-level media, English, psychology, and drama. That's what I did. And that kind of molded me into having the interests that I have to this day.
Did you go uni or you didn't go uni?
I did go uni. I went 2 different unis.
Okay.
So I started living by myself since I was like 17. My mum went back to Trinidad. So I was on my own. I had bills to pay, rent to pay. And I found it super difficult to pay those bills and like go to uni, be able to pay those bills and go to uni, right? So I had a full-time job.
So what were you doing, if you could say? If you don't want to say, it's cool.
I can't swear, can I?
Of course you can.
Bullshit. I was doing bullshit. At the time, like, it was just, I was working for a really small company. So I was everything. I was their HR, accounts, PA, like doing things that just did not make me happy, honestly. And you need people that are happy doing that stuff because that stuff makes the business happen. You know, I'm not going to get paid that invoice that I sent if no one's in the accounts paying my invoice. So I would like start jobs and then be amazing for like the first 3 months. And then afterwards, my boss would feel some kind of way to ask me to do stuff because I'm giving them attitude because I'm just like, I don't want to be here. So yeah, I did that for a while. I actually worked at a fire alarm system.
What?
Yeah, I knew nothing about that. Like, what? Then I worked at a housing association. Then I worked at an SEO company, and that was my last like proper job. And I was there for about 3 years. And this is me, like, I started working proper full-time jobs from like 18. So, you know, that was my life for a bit. But I was just miserable. Like, I was super depressed. I felt like I had so much more to offer than what I was doing. But I also had a lot of fear, a lot of insecurity. I was not confident in even saying that I wanted to do what I wanted to do. Like, to say, when I eventually like thought, you know what, I'm going to try my hand at presenting, I wasn't even confident to say that that's what I wanted to do. I just cared about what people thought too much.
So just scale it back. So uni twice. So what happened the first time? Did you have to drop out, or was it?
First time I went Brunel, and I did.
That's a party already.
Yeah. Do you know what though? I went to one party. I was in. Oh God. I was in like a stupid relationship. I guess now looking back, I can tell that I felt alone, even though I had support, but I felt alone. My mum wasn't there in it. So I latched on to another human, and that was like my support. And he was a boy at the time. I'm not even trying to disrespect him, but it was like a real controlling relationship, and I allowed it to be as well. So I proper did not go out whatsoever. I went out once.
Oh, wow.
I know. I should have really partied, innit? Like, Brunel was lit.
That campus that they had, like, was supposed to be.
I know. Yeah.
But then there was that Brunel Uncovered stuff that was all over Facebook. I don't know if you remember.
Brunel
that.
what?
Brunel Uncovered.
No.
We won't go
What
into
was
that.
the cost?
Nah, it's just exposing what was going on, and yeah, it was crazy. But okay.
Yeah, I did. What did I do there? I did film and drama at Brunel, and then after the first year, like I hardly even went in. Like it was terrible. So I kind of just left it, and then I really missed learning. So then I went Middlesex. Really, I should have gone back to Brunel, but I went Middlesex, and I did English and journalism after that. And a year into doing that, again, I was working full time, and I was just like, I feel like I can do this stuff anyway. I feel like I don't have to finish this degree to do what it is that I want to do. But I left and kept on working those full-time jobs for bare long. And then eventually I said, you know what, like I actually can't do this. Like I have to leave this job. I had no savings. I'm definitely not advising you to leave a job with no savings, but that's what I personally had to do to put myself in that position. So I really go for it. And I started a bootleg online magazine. I say bootleg because that's exactly what it was. It wasn't proper. It wasn't slick. It wasn't nice or anything like that. It was the best I can do at the time. And it was just an excuse for me to leave that job and say, like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing something. I'm going to something else. I've got an online magazine because it sounds nice, innit? Yeah, I got an online magazine. So, yeah, I can't do this anymore. I'm working. I'm an entrepreneur. I remember I had an argument with my brother because I did, like, this video to try and entice people to come and do interviews with me. Now looking back, the video was proper cringe, but it was me like, hey, I'm Joelah Noble. Like, not comfortable with myself, anything, like proper not talking how I usually talk. Come and interview with me. I've got this online magazine and da-da-da. And I'm kicking and I'm being dumb in it. It's really how I am to this day, but it was just it was wild. And my brother was just like, oh, I don't know about it. And I got mad. I was like, you're not a creative entrepreneur. You're not a creative entrepreneur like me. But yeah.
What's the name of the magazine?
I'm not telling you.
I could just call Billy now, put on loudspeaker and ask the name.
Billy probably knows about it as well. I think she does.
Hey, listen, you've already had, what was your rap name? Was it Thugged Out Barbie?
Thugged Out Barbie.
And you can't tell us the name of what your bootleg online
It was called Egoism. Egoism Online.
Why that? Why did you... So you left your job to start Egoism Online.
Oh, God.
Voila.
Why egoism? Because it was an exploration of self. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I guess at the time I understood the connotations of like what the ego is and all of that. But it was about people talking about themselves and like putting yourself first. Really, it was what I was doing. Like I was putting myself first.
So it was more for you then?
It was all for me. Yeah. And it was talking to people about how they turn their passion into profession. And that's really what I wanted to do. So, yeah.
How difficult was it when you have to... Because I know for me, when I left my career, I went through a portion where I felt like a waste man because I just didn't have any resources. And I knew I had a passion, but the times in which we were starting, it didn't make sense. So everyone was like, oh, so how's things going? I'm looking at my account, like my account's getting to minus.
Yeah.
You know, and it's quite difficult to find yourself when it doesn't look like it makes sense to anybody else, man. And
I hated when people ask me, like, how's it going? Because it's going shit. It's going bad. It was not easy. Like, I was lucky because I joined a commercial agency and I would get commercials here and there. And so that would pay my expenses, basically. Like, I think my first commercial, I might have got like 4,500 or something. And then like maybe 10 grand, 15 grand, something like that. But that's like one commercial in like 6, 7, 8 months, maybe. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not every day that you're booking a commercial.
yeah.
So it was difficult. Financially, it was difficult. Again, like, I still suffered from these insecurities that I was trying so hard to battle with.
But you know where those insecurities, where they stem from? Or, I mean, as an adult now, do you look back and know where it comes from?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do. It's definitely a childhood thing. I feel like any of our issues that we have now is definitely because of something that happened in childhood, even though it might seem so little, so minuscule. Usually it stems from childhood trauma. So, yeah, 100%. I didn't believe in myself because I felt like, why would anyone else believe in me, kind of thing. So, like, I'm not believing in myself. But we got there.
So, when does it start to change? Like, how long after you leave your job?
So, all right, did egoism, got my commercials, was like applying for presenting things and for acting stuff as well. And I had a really, at the time, well, it was banging actually. I had a good casting for Don't Jealous Me's show called The T-Boy Show.
Yep.
And it was to play his love interest. Abigail was her name. And I went, I was super nervous, like, but you know what, it's mad because I always knew, because he was one of the first like online comedians, like on YouTube and that. And I knew a couple people that knew him. And I always said in my head, like, we're going to work together. I didn't know when or why. I just knew that we were going to work together. And so, yeah, when I seen the casting, like, I didn't even want to apply for it because I didn't like the idea of possibly getting rejected. But I did anyway. And so I went for it, banged that out. They loved me in it. And yeah, that was the kind of what started, like, I guess, like, me being in the spotlight and feeling comfortable. I learned so much just from that experience, you know, just to really believe in myself a lot more. And we did this stupid video where, like, just he was videoing, my bad. He was videoing and I was in the background. I was just like, hey, what's up? And he was like, Abigail. And I was like, hey, yeah. Like being dumb, right? Just being me, basically. And he put it up on his Instagram and I just got loads of followers from it. Now, I don't even think I reached 1,000 followers at that time, but I think that is the thing that probably took me over the 1,000 mark. And I was just like, ooh, I like that. Posty from Grime Daily seen that. I think I met him before that because he was a friend of a friend's. And I also did like a behind the scenes for one of Tinchy Strider's music videos as well. Because I met Tinchy Strider when I was working behind the bar at Shepherd's Bush Empire, which is now O2 Empire.
How many jobs have you had? You had a lot of jobs.
That was like...
That's just like on
like when I just turned 18 or something like that, I got that job. Shout out to Perry for hooking me up with that. It's my friend from high school. So I met him through that, and then I asked him like, oh, can I do the behind the scenes, whatever. So Posty's seen, I think he's seen that, but he definitely seen Don't Jealous Me video on Instagram. He's like, this girl, like, she's silly. And called me in some months after and was like, hey, I got a gift for you. Grime Daily News. Went in. My first ever episode of that was atrocious. I was so stiff. We didn't have like a teleprompter or anything, so I had to remember That's best to remember. Buck was there. Gigs, yeah, Buck was there. And I was just nervous, like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. But yeah, they liked it, went with it. I did that for about 3 years. Got Rinse in the middle of that as well. Rinse hollered at me because they seen the Grime Daily News. And yeah, like a couple commercials in the middle. I really can't tell you, like chronologically, the jobs that I had.
It's a blur at times, isn't it?
It really is. Yeah. I just know what happened from like last year onward now.
I'm the same. I can't tell you like certain things. It's just, yeah, it's mad. Right, so when you're doing GRM News, 3 years, I wouldn't say it was dragging on for you, but did you think like...
Yeah, like, well, I was...
Let me rephrase it. So 3 years in anything in the media, you always look to evolve.
Yeah.
So I was thinking like, I'm not saying did you have any self-doubts, but were you feeling like you're going in the right direction if you're in the same spot?
Like I was stagnant.
Yeah, there you
basically.
Go, yeah.
I did kind of feel like that. I was so appreciative of the opportunity. Like they even had me as one of their hosts for Rated Awards.
Big look.
Which was huge. Like that was one of the most amazing things right now that I would even say that I've done. Like I really enjoyed doing that. To even be on the stage where the artists that I listen to every day are like looking at me and, you know, listening to what I'm saying. I'm talking to them in the audience. Like that was sick. And then fans of the music, they're watching it or whatever. And even the whole idea of the Rated Awards, like that's amazing to me anyway. So what GRM Daily did for me, like that was amazing. And I would always be appreciative for that opportunity. Obviously, I was good enough to do it, innit? So I'm not saying that, you know, I didn't deserve it because I did. But yeah, I felt like, you know, with anything, you need to grow.
Facts, yeah.
You know, and me standing there doing the news for 100 years, I'm not going to, like, how am I growing from that? You know, I've grown enough now. I need to take the next step. The news is kind of limiting as well because there's not much personality that can go into it. I tried my hardest. Sometimes people felt that it was so jarring. I don't care. I'm going to put my flavor on it. But yeah, I just felt like there was more that I really wanted to do with that, most definitely.
The risk comes along. I wondered though, like, because I'm never on screen. Were you more aware of like, were you getting comments like, I don't know, were you ever getting comments about, I don't know, like even if people objectify, say, oh, that light-skinned girl's pretty, or I don't know, like, did you find yourself reading the comments and...
Yeah, at first, like, they were rude. Really? At first, they're like, oh, this is a B-Tech complex. Oh, wow. Yeah, like, just disrespectful. Oh, she's jarring, she's annoying. I'm like, why are you coming back? Then don't watch me, innit? It was either, like, really, really rude or, like, really, really perverted.
Yeah.
And I don't find perverted comments flattering. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I don't know if that's what you meant by it, but I don't find it flattering. So I'd rather not. But I just stopped reading the comments after a while.
Would it also go into your Instagram as well? Or would people...
Nah, I didn't have enough followers for that at the time. You know, like when you reach a certain amount of followers, then people feel like, oh, you might not even see the comment or you're not aware of everything that's happening, so they can just say whatever they want.
We'll say that, yep.
Maybe from me. But no, they wouldn't really. They might like DM me, but they're not gonna write something in my comments. I wasn't even consistent on Instagram at that time enough anyway. And it did bother me, but then yeah, I kind of stopped reading it. And then when I went back to reading it, I just didn't care.
So yeah, you gain a thicker skin to it then.
Yeah.
Like Rinse, like, and that I do remember the Rinse time period. 'Cause I remember I was talking to Billy, and I think you were having, I forgot how it worked out, but this is a few years ago. Wait, actually, maybe more. How long have you been on Rinse for?
2, maybe about 3 years now. So I was coming up to that time. Maybe not put that bit in, but it's coming up to the top.
I mean, but again, I think But and obviously with someone who works in journalism, you're good, you're great. You can think on your feet. You can work with different characters, like some people are a bit limited in terms of the people they can interact with. So you have all of that. But
thank you.
I mean, for you, what do you see as next? But what's an ideal situation for yourself there?
Ideally, well, do you mean like in the near future or?
I want to say, let's go near future. Let's not go to the end goal, but near future.
Because I don't really like to talk about my end goal.
Yeah.
I think for me, the next step would have to be like TV needs to see me in it. Like I need to touch TV. Mm-hmm. I've touched online. I need to touch the screens. And I know that it's not even how it used to be. Like television, like online is actually as good, if not better, than being on the TV screen. But that's just a little goal in it. I'm just like, I need to touch the TV screen. People need to see me in their front rooms. And not from the YouTube app, which is still commendable as well.
Another thing I was going to actually just pick up on there, like how a lot of people do want to do presenting. I don't know how it is for you with people asking you maybe for advice or help, but is there anything where you could see that this generation wants it a bit too fast and they just think it's as easy as asking someone to put them on, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't even know if it's this generation. I feel like it might actually just be human nature where you might want to do something, but then when you find out the amount of work that needs to go in to do that, that's when you want a handout or you don't want to do it anymore because it's not easy. I think anything that's worth having just isn't easy. Anything that you want to do that's big and bold, it's not going to be an overnight kind of situation. I mean, I'm not even going to say that. But it's not going to be an overnight situation. I would say that nothing really beats hard work. I mean, hard work beats talent.
There you go.
And I've seen that, even for myself, where I know that I'm talented. I've gotten to the point where I'm confident in everything that I do. I believe in myself. I know I'm good. But I haven't been that consistent in the past. I haven't put myself out there. There have been ideas that I've procrastinated on for 100 years. And then you see someone else that will go and do it.
Yeah.
And then they're doing the thing that you want to do. Do you know what I mean? You can't hate on that. You just got to be inspired. You got to be inspired by that. And that's just got to be the kick up the arse to be like, do you know what? Do whatever it is that you want to do in this life. Like, I get deep sometimes where anytime I'm scared of things like in this industry or this next job, or I feel like, I'm like not as confident to do this, or I'm out of my comfort zone, I'm like, what on earth? Like, what on earth? There's like levels, there's layers, there's a core. Like, you look up in the sky and there's like a moon and a sun and shit. Like, there's a galaxy. Like, this ain't it. Basically, this is not it. We're in boxes and we put these rules and ideas on each other and ourselves. And ultimately, like, it's really about what allows you to sleep at night. What brings you peace? So just do that. Do that. It's no use being scared. It's pointless. It's not going to help you eventually.
It's true. It's I think everything is just like there's challenges and hurdles that we all have to overcome. Because like if you had stopped, at egoism, if that didn't go as you wouldn't be where you are now. But it's definitely like faith and just like dedication. Yeah. I think the other part, we kind of like spoke on this before. Being a black woman in media, just in general, how have you found that for yourself, without making it seem like political, but just for you, like how have you found it? What have you noticed, if anything?
Yeah, like I've noticed that, especially when I started, like especially in like my commercials and stuff, that I might be the only black person on set, the only black person on screen and on set, or if there are black people on screen, there are no black people like behind the cameras, you know, no black people on sound, like just not a black team whatsoever, no black producers, no black nothing. And that's not even about being a woman, that's just being a black person in this industry. I feel like the brands are now making an effort, not all of them, but some of them are making an effort to try and change that now because of everything that happened during one of the lockdowns, you know, with the BLM protests and that. And
but is that slight tokenism?
Yeah, no, but it was tokenism anyway. So what are we going to do? We're going to not do it because it's tokenism. Like, how do we navigate that? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's important as the talent to ask the really hard, difficult, awkward questions where it's like, if you know that it's a predominantly white team or you've worked with them and it's usually a predominantly white team, like, are there any other black people? Like, is it just me and the other hosts? Are there other black people on the team? Like, because that's important as well. Yeah. And that's how you avoid making stupid mistakes.
How do you mean in terms of?
Like, just in terms of, I just use, like, remember the whole Gucci thing where, what is it? They had, like, the red lips. They had a jumper that was black.
Yeah. Okay, so, like, have some cultural competency of...
Exactly.
Be able to read, yeah.
You know. But yeah, I mean, it's a journey, you know, it really is a journey. And then obviously being a light-skinned black woman, I'm aware that, you know, there's certain privileges that I was saying to you earlier that I may not have known that existed. Like, instead of getting a brown-skinned black girl, dark-skinned black girl, they're going to go for the light-skinned one because for them... they feel like, I don't know, they can relate to it more because it's closer to their skin tone. I don't know what their frame of mind is.
We've never been told how they see that.
Exactly.
Dynamic,
but throughout history,
yeah,
you know, it's always been a thing like, oh, the lighter you are, the better you are, the more privileged you are. But at the same time, I'm still a black person and they're still going to see me as a black girl. So, yeah. That's a whole nother conversation. I think it's very long-winded.
It's and again, we were just having a few little bants about Clubhouse, and what I've realized with Clubhouse is that you go in there for a minute and then it's like after the third week or the first week, you're like, I've heard this conversation 3-4 times, but it's experiences that we've already experienced in real life, and it's like, okay, cool, but how do we change this? And some things are just systemic. However, and this is my other segue, you're pivoting. Compatibility and chemistry. I missed the beginning part on your IG TV. I think it was IGTV because it was a bit longer than 60 seconds.
It was long.
All right, cool. So let's
not that long, but yeah.
I mean, let's get into that. So what were you saying about that? Because I actually missed it, but I'm intrigued by it.
So my idea is that we're out here getting in relationships that are based on chemistry rather than compatibility. We're out here marrying people. We're out here getting into long-term commitments because that person makes us laugh and they're cute.
Are you guilty? Have you been guilty of that?
I mean, haven't we all? Haven't we all? Because I don't think you really understand what compatibility is until you're hit with like life in it. And you're a bit more realistic. I feel like when I talk about this, people are like, oh, like you're, I don't know, like maybe a bit negative about situations, about like a relationship. Like you feel like chemistry doesn't matter. I'm not saying chemistry doesn't matter. I feel like chemistry is part of compatibility. So there's a bit of a twist to it, but I feel like it's important to know like where that person sees themselves just in terms of their lives. Like literally, where do you see yourself? Like, do you want to live in this country for the rest of your life? Because I don't. And we need to have this conversation.
Do people really have those conversations though?
Why not?
No, I get it. Like, I get it, but like we're in a conversation when everyone's and I blame women for this whole
Don't you dare.
honeymoon, like just.
But that's part of it, like getting to know each other.
I agree.
What do you talk about when you're getting to know someone?
No, I agree, but there's my plans that I already have in place, and then there are plans that facilitate room for the relationship. And sometimes, like you may say, look, like for example, one of my friends, he before he got into his relationship, he had like I forgot what car. It was like a Mazda, those 2-door small cars. And then as soon as he got in a relationship and he started to move in, his partner moved in with him. She said to him, look, like when we have kids, that car is not going to be sufficient.
Yeah.
You really think like kids, like this is like he hadn't already computed how his life will change.
Yeah.
In that dynamic. And that's where you start to realize, okay, cool, adjustments need to be made.
Sacrifices.
Right. But
I
do think there are fundamental things that you do need to discuss, but I just don't know if that's what we're even really talking about nowadays.
Then what are you talking, if like, I need to know, like, and I'm not saying, let's talk about this on the first date or the second or even the third. Yeah. Because that's a bit intense, isn't it? But
that's
like, if I like you, I like you, we like each other, we share chemistry. Like chemistry is us talking on the phone for 4 hours nonstop. What are we talking about? Like chemistry is us liking the same music, being able to go on holiday, liking the same food, stuff like that. Like compatibility is if we're actually going to work later on, like the longevity of our relationship, what's the quality of that going to be like? Because if we have kids and you feel like I was actually having this conversation with one of my friends not too long ago, like he was saying, if I have a son, I don't want my son to have dreadlocks as he gets older. Like, because then he's not going to be looked at as professional in the workplace if he goes to work in a corporate setting. I don't agree with that. I disagree with that immensely. Like something like that is actually like a huge thing for me.
Wait, you want your son to have dreadlocks?
No, I don't. If he wants to have dreadlocks, innit? My dad is a Rasta. My mum used to be.
Okay,
my mum, like she used to have dreadlocks as well. My brothers and my oldest sister, they had dreadlocks before they were even allowed to speak. Like it's rude. They had no choice on the matter. They've cut it off now. But that was like, the household that I'm from. But it was just I don't even know how the conversation happened, how it came about, but we were just talking about it. And it's just like, I disagree with that because that to me shows your values, right? I understand it. Yeah. I understand where you're going. But for me, I believe in being completely true to yourself, your culture, your heritage, and not changing yourself to please someone else.
Okay.
Especially like someone that isn't from the same background as you, who can dictate your life in terms of like your income and the stability that you feel. Like, I feel like you should be strong enough. I want to raise my child to be strong enough to withstand the bullshit that might come their way because of the way they look, not conform to it. The same way I used to straighten my hair all the time, not because I wanted to fit in more with like people that had straight hair, more so because that's what I was used to at the time, and I didn't have any curly hair products. But then I felt awkward having my hair curly in my 9-to-5 job that didn't have any other black people. Got it. I don't want my son to feel awkward about that. I know it's small, but it's not small.
No, it makes sense, but also we do have to empower the next generation to have a greater strength. Bit by bit, hopefully the walls of systemic biases will diminish. But then the argument is like, this is the world we live in.
Yeah, but then what? So we should lay down and take that. No. Create your own thing then. Son, I'm sorry you got to deal with this, but you're just going to have to create your own thing. Or just go to a company that will embrace you for however you are, because there are companies like that too.
Again, random. What do you think of guys who have issues with their partners and their male friends? Like that is a dynamic that happens a lot. And me to add to that, I did my own little algebra equation. I used to say to myself, look, the majority of guys who are friends with women, it's not really platonic.
Move from me.
I know we've got a few little extra guests here.
Sure, man. All coming up in my interviews. None of your business. It's about me.
Yeah, but I do feel personally that a lot of relationships aren't platonic. It's like the guy's had a failed attempt, hasn't had the guts to say what it is, or is waiting for an opening to come and just to be an option. There are some who ain't going to be in that place, but I think most guys view it as that. So I don't know. How do you see it? Do you think most of your do you think all your male friends are platonic, or do you not feel like, I'm not like not egoism, but I can tell he's just sitting on the bench, like he's just.
I think.
Come on, talk the truth, girl. Talk the truth.
You're a man as well, so I guess you got a deeper insight into this situation. You might have friends. You might have been in this situation yourself as well.
I mean, I'm just saying that, like, the dynamics for most do you know what my thing is like, how that friendship come about?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it's like.
So, all right, quickly before I answer the question. So, all right, if it was a case where the guy fancied your girl, your girl, but it's not like that anymore. Like, would you be happy with them being friends? Would you be okay with that?
Me personally, where I'm at now, I wouldn't mind. I just wouldn't believe in his attentions. Because it's like Billy's a friend of mine. Been my friend for 10 years. Mm-hmm. It's always been friendship. Mm-hmm. That's why Billy and I and Tim can all be like, do you know what I mean? And you need, like, I've learned so much from the women who are my platonic friends in my life, because it's a safe space. Exactly. Do you understand? But I think also for us men, we realize it's the minority where we think, that person actually has no desire for my missus. Yeah. And then sometimes you just, like, life shows and you think if you break up and then you realize she's with that person anyway. So there are examples.
That's just, I guess, what it was meant to be then. Wait, my bad. But I've personally never done that. But I have had quite a few instances where, like, a guy has fancied me and then I wasn't feeling him in that way, but we were good friends. I know that a couple, they might have been sitting back waiting, like, when is she gonna break up with her guy? Or when is she gonna realize that I'm the greatest and that I love her?
I support her. I'm not like the others. And,
yeah. But I wouldn't say most of my male friendships are like that. I feel like you get two people, a man, a woman. It could even work the other way around. You know what I mean? Like, the girl likes the guy. And if it's just not going to happen, it's just not going to happen. And it just depends, I guess, on the maturity of the individuals. But it is a different one. It's techie. I really appreciate my male friendships for that reason that you said earlier. Like, it gives you an insight that you might not get otherwise. You learn stuff from them. I know I've taught my male friends a lot. Certain things you might not be able, certain conversations, let's be real, like the same way you can't have a certain conversation, the same conversation you have with your missus, with your friend, your male friend, you might not be able to have a conversation with your missus and your female friend. But it does, in that instance, it has to be respectful. And there can't be any, like, inside feelings like that. My thing is, like, I just don't want to feel it. If you fancy me, don't let me know. I don't want to feel it. I usually would know anyway, and then I'll kind of distance myself. Jeez. But I've been lucky and blessed enough to have friends that I feel like, okay, he's not there sitting there waiting eagerly. I've got one really good friend that I know he loved me, like, when we first met, but I was very vocal about it. I was just like, this ain't gonna happen. But I love you, like, as a person. I proper love you, but it's not really
trying to hear that.
This ain't gonna happen. But you know what? Now he has realized, like, I'm not the one for him. I was never the one. Why would you want to be with someone that doesn't really like you anyway? Like, for real. If they're not feeling you initially, like, why would you want to be? And after years, like, why would you want to be that with that person? Like, what, you were their backup plan? You don't want to be that guy.
Do you know what? Some guys don't mind. It may just.
But then how's that going to go?
I hear you. That's a whole another conundrum. Here's something else. Like, I don't know what your situation is, and I'm not even gonna ask you. But what I will say is, being in the media like we are in general terms, do you think it's more difficult for someone to be a partner with you with all the like moving pieces you got going on? Because you have to be somewhat selfish. You still have life, but if you don't make it happen,
exactly,
nothing comes in.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. I definitely have to be. There's an element of selfishness that has to go into my day-to-day living, 100%. So whoever I'm with has to be really secure. I've definitely been in situations where the guy wasn't secure and so acted out in other ways that were just, not nice. But yeah, you just need to be secure and understanding, and ideally going for your own stuff as well. And it's not forced, like genuinely going for your own thing, not just because I'm going for my thing, go for your thing anyway, whether I'm here or not.
Yeah.
And then there's not that like kind of competition, or you're not always feeling like you've got to be up under me everywhere I'm going.
Yeah, you gotta have your own thing going on, man. Like I concur with that, because you just want to feel like, you have your ambition. I'll be a cheerleader at this point. I have my thing, cheerleader at that point, and then irrespective of whatever happens between the individuals, because some people give up when the relationship's over. Like literally, like it's. I'm not saying it's crazy. I understand that dynamic, but and I think also for you being like a woman, like there's not one, there's color, two, there's gender, and there's just like there aren't that many opportunities. And as much as people say, you know what, everyone can eat, there's a difference between a loaf and a crumb. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all have different expenses, so like there is eating, and there's providing for yourself, and then maybe for your mum or for your dad or for your, we all require different things out of this. Do you know
I feel like everyone can eat, and everyone can have a decent amount, but you need to find your lane. I think that's what it is.
I don't believe that though.
You don't?
I don't.
I feel like everyone is capable like of doing the same thing but different things.
I believe that.
Like, I'm a presenter. There are so many other presenters out there, but like the way I do things isn't the same way as another girl or boy might do it.
So the reality is, if someone wakes up tomorrow and says they want to be a presenter, the industry doesn't say we need them.
100%. You've got to knock down them doors.
Right. And there's job gluts. There isn't.
Yeah.
Like, I think Laura and I were talking about this one time. I was saying like the amount of law degrees they give out isn't the amount of training contracts available, or like the amount of people who want to be A&R. So there is. I think now there's a clear path where you can actually like learn on the job and try and be that. But I think most people look at it like, can I pay my livelihood?
And that's where you give up a lot of the time.
And even like I said, even now, like it's still a grind.
Yeah, 100%. Hell yeah.
Do you find people think that you I don't know how it works with brands. Oh my gosh, you made it.
Sometimes maybe, but like I don't listen to that because no, I haven't. No, I haven't. I've done some really cool things that I'm really proud of, but like, no. I feel like I've made it when I have the freedom to do whatever the hell it is that I want to do creatively and just ownership, I
have a feel. I don't know, man. I think I was saying this, I don't know. But I would definitely be subscribing or tuned in if like you had like more of your own type of content. Like,
I feel like that's where it is. And that's why I mean like people have their own lanes. Like you need to create your own stuff. And then the more you do that, the more the brands are going to be knocking down your door, because you've already solidified yourself in this lane. Like when I started doing sneaker reviews, that was the first thing after egoism, after my 2.5 interviews with egoism. It's called Save Our Souls, SOLES, and it's just sneaker reviews. And I decided to do that because I just needed something that was going to show my personality and somewhere where I can just be me and be a good presenter, but show my personality and not have any restrictions, and also include something that I'm genuinely interested in, which is sneaker culture, trainer culture. People cuss me because I say sneakers sometimes. I was raised in Brooklyn.
We accept it.
So leave me alone. When I started doing that, like those videos don't even have like amazing views. Don't get it twisted. Like some of them are just, anyway. But the fact that I was doing it and that it was good quality, it showed my presenting skills, showed my personality to a good level. Like people saw potential in that, brands saw potential in that. And so that then led on to like Puma contacting me to do like partnerships with them.
Shout out to the team at Puma.
Yeah, always. I love them. They're very supportive because they were like one of the first brands when it really was nothing, where they saw potential in that and wanted to help me out and pay me to do stuff. Foot Asylum, even like the sports stuff. Even the sports stuff. Like I don't think I'd be doing Premier League today if I didn't do Save Our Souls a year ago or a year and a half.
So so a lot of people who feel that they're influencers, how do you, because there is a lot of exploitation. So where did you, I know you got obviously management, very reputable, Insanity, but how, is it more them that helped define your value, or is it collaborative? Was it, I don't know, like how did that all come together about you actually getting like actual quote unquote talent management for yourself?
Yeah, I feel like, would you say if it was them that found my what?
I would say that in terms of like, how did you determine your value? Because a lot of times when you're an influencer, I've done a few campaigns on behalf of brands behind the scenes, and it's interesting when you like, you can talk to an artist and say, look, there's XX amount of money, and they may think, no, I need 150 grand. And you're like, oh bro, how does that work out? Yeah, but I've got 500,000 followers. Or you have somebody where it's like, they are really like, I'm like, how much you been paid? They're like, I got paid £200. I'm like, my bro. Like, because we don't really know our value. So I was just saying, like, how did you come to that type of conclusion?
It was really difficult actually, because we don't have those conversations, like you say, at all. We definitely need to have more of those conversations. I've had a couple people that I know through the industry and we're doing the same kind of thing in terms of like working with brands. And they'll be like, how much did they pay you for this? Or how much would you charge for this? And then I'll ask them back and then we compare and we're like, oh, okay. That's what they doing.
Sometimes you think they actually lowballed me. But it's it's the business, isn't it?
And you got to learn, like you can't be too nice. When it comes to business and money, like they're not being too nice. They're trying to get a deal. So you need to not really know what you're worth. So I think that's about having the conversations. I think my agency has helped quite a lot in terms of that, to be honest, because they would bring me certain contracts with a certain amount, and then I'm like, oh, so I can do that for that. Oh, all right, cool. So now that's what I'm doing.
And then it's now let you know, not with or without it, but you know what the market rate is.
Yeah, what it is, 100%. And also, it's not just about how many followers you have. Although that's a huge misconception. Obviously, people do look at followers, but then you got to think about like your engagement as well.
They look at
I know people with loads more followers than me. Like I might have move from me. I might have, I don't know, 10% of their followers, and our engagement's the same.
So, value proposition. You now know your worth. But in theory, like going forward this year, like not specifically goals, but will we get your own type of content? Like, are we gonna get that? Because I know what it's like working under other situations, and I think you're such a ball of energy that I would love to see creatively what you do, because you already have set aside all the other things. But
Yeah.
I want to see what a Joelah Noble show looks like, or your own
I want to
interview.
see it too.
For real.
I want to see. I'm trying to be like you, boy.
I'm
trying to be like you.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, you'll definitely see more Joelah Noble stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, you'll see it 100%. That is like, it's kind of like how the sneaker reviews were, where I was procrastinating on that for 1,000 years because I was scared. But when I did it, it just opened so many doors. So I know that my own content, my own additional content,
come on.
is the same kind of thing. I know that it's something that's absolutely needed for my career, personally, professionally, and also just like for the scene as well. I just feel like I have a lot to bring to that. So yeah, you will see it. I've been procrastinating on it for 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is just about up. So I think
We need that.
we're gonna get there, innit?
Yeah. I guess rounding up, what is there anything you want to say to we're in a lane of media, like aspiring, let's say specifically women who want to, like, it sounds cliche, to follow your footsteps, like what kind of things do you want them to like be mindful of, or to almost actually avoid?
I just think it's, again, it sounds mad cliche, but it really is about being you. Like, you are your power. There's no one like you. I feel so cliche saying that, but it's true. Like, you see these artists that we love and that we enjoy, like, what's special about them is that we like them, you know? We hear the vulnerability in their music. We feel like we know their personality. That's the same thing, I think, with anything, to be honest. Maybe not acting, because you're playing someone else. But in terms of presenting, like, I'm going to deliver a line completely different to how you're going to deliver a line. And we can ask the same questions in an interview, but it's going to be completely different because we're two different people coming from different backgrounds. Correct. So embrace you, like, whatever your niche is, whatever little thing that you enjoy doing, then do that. Like, I like sneakers, so I had to do something about sneakers. You know, I'm competitive, so sports is where it's at. And I like chatting to people, so you're going to see more of that as well.
Okay. Sorry, Joelah, you got to give me some bars before you go.
Oh, I hate you. No.
I need a Jay. Give me a Jay-Z. Give me a Jay-Z verse.
Oh.
After all this talk that we've had.
I keep it realer than most. No, I can't.
No, come on. No. After all this talk.
I keep it realer than most. I know you're feeling it. Crystals are nice. I like to toast. I keep on spilling it. Bone crushers. I keep real close. I got the skill for this. On my back, the flyers closed. Looking ill as shit. Transactions illegitimate because life is still a bitch. But then you die. Like, for now, life, close your eyes and feel this dick. Don't carry up. That's what you're getting for that.
Hey, I need to get some producers to get me some beats under that, man.
Shut up.
I'm going to put on distribution now. But listen, Joelah, honestly, I'm so proud of what you've accomplished. It's amazing. Like, you are not even nowhere near the surface of your ability. So I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Right,
Thank you for having me.
Come on, G.
I've appreciated it.
Thank you very much.